Hello, fellow wholehearted. Welcome to AM Flow with Hang. In today AM, I want to have a conversation with you about dealing with breakups. Okay, let's pause for a second. I'm going to connect my heart to yours. And if this is the space that you're in right now, my friend, or recently that you're in and still in it, I am sorry. It sucks. Period. Whether you're the person that broke things off or whether you're the person that being broken off by it, it doesn't change the matter how painful the heart can feel disheartened, especially being a wholehearted who loves so deeply. And chances are that you gave everything you could in this relationship dynamic, whether it's a business partnership, romantic partnership, best friend, whatever it is. That's something that you wholeheartedly dive in and give your heart to. And to break away from that, literally it feels like your heart just like that. And it sucks. I'm sorry. Let's just establish that. It sucks. And the first natural instinct that we naturally do, and you maybe relate to this because I used to do this myself, is I just shut it off because it's too painful when you're empath, you love wholeheartedly, you play all out, it's freaking hurt. And it's really hard to be without pain, so you just shut it off, right? And then you cut it off, and sometimes we consciously or subconsciously go into a rebound. So that's a normal way that most people go on about business, and and you can relate to this. But then, is that really the highest serving way? Looking back in life and observing people, when I look at them, like, well, when you cut things off, you shut things off early, and then you don't really deal with it, it's going to come back to you in a different form, a different person. The same kind of feeling, the same kind of dynamic, but in a different form when we don't really deal with what it is. So some of my perspective I'm sharing with you that you may not like to hear that much because it's not really easy to go with. And it's not a popular way of to go about things. So if you go into a breakup right now, right? What is my perspective and how do I think you should move through it? And just to keep in mind, I'm not the relationship specialist. I'm sharing this from a perspective of being a person, being another human being who have done the work and continue to do the work on myself. And as human, I'm in relationship. I go through breakup myself and I help others through breakup, and that the perspective that I'm coming from. And you take whatever it is that I'm sharing with you that resonate, you run with it. Whatever it is you don't resonate in, don't run with it. Right? That's why I say to have these conversations, because I'm here not to tell you what to do. I'm here sharing with you my perspective, and you get to choose what you want to do. And this conversation been inspired in a moment because recently I helped somebody very dear in my life, actually at least 2 or 3 people moving through their own process, and I myself went through a very deep pain, deep grief, deep breakup, and still working through it. So whatever that I'm sharing with you right now is I've been doing it myself and still continue to practice this in the best as I can. Am I 100% success at it? No, because I'm human. So in that, give yourself the grace and the space to suck at this at first. So the first thing that I would invite you to do is to acknowledge what you're feeling for what it is, whether somebody consider you the asshole that break things off with people, or you feel disempowered feeling. Acknowledge whatever that you feel right now. You are being human. And especially, like I said earlier, if you are an empath, you're gonna feel a lot more than a regular person. And a wholehearted who play all out, who give all your heart to that person in that relationship, you're gonna freaking feel it right now. So let yourself feel it. Let yourself be in it by honoring yourself fully, because when you shut things off from feeling, that's a temporary solution. When you don't choose, your system will choose for you. You're shutting off a part of yourself. So don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Do not shut yourself off. Keep your heart open to let it move through, because whatever it needs to move through is a natural human experience. This will pass. You gotta let yourself be in it. That's the first thing. You gotta face the music. That's I was telling my mentee, she's moving through it. I'm like, well, you gotta face the music. You cannot dodge the fear. If you're afraid of something, you gotta confront straight on, right? And it's easy to cut things off. Like, oh, because now I'm cutting off. You can temporarily take space, take the distance But my thing is, why can't you keep your heart open? Why can't you be you and be gracious? And if you see that person face is gonna bring you pain, take that pain as a gift and move through it instead of stuffing that away. You know, like the old school, like if we break up, we're gonna delete all the pictures, cut everything off, and never see this person again, never talk again. Why does it have to be like that? It's just because we're afraid of the pain. Now, the fear is, well, if I'm in this pain here, I'm gonna stuck in it forever. I'm not gonna move on to life. Well, that's when you don't deal with it. But if you allow yourself to naturally move through this pain, I believe you naturally move through it. And you still could have an open, loving, gracious relationship with this person. Now, unless this person is deliberately a legitimate asshole, toxic, narcissistic relationship that like not healthy for you, then there's a distinction between consciously choosing not to be in that, rather than you cutting off because you can't handle it. You can handle it, but because you choose not to be in it. That's a two different thing. And most of the time, because you are a decent, awesome human being, chances are the person that you were with is also a decent human being as well, right? Maybe have some shortcoming and some stuff that he or she need to work on. But for the most part, you are both capable of graciously untether, graciously saying goodbye. Catherine Thomas Wood, I think that's her name. She have this whole book about conscious decoupling. You can read that book if you like. That's a great book to show how to consciously move on. Now, it doesn't mean that person is there ready to do that, but you can do it for yourself. Because like I said, if you shut your heart off, you shut you off. So do you want to do that to yourself, for yourself? Probably not. So you got to face the music. You got to let yourself be in it and be in that. Give yourself grace, time, and patience for the grief cycle to move through, right? Breaking up hurt, the normal cycle of grief. What happened first? We're in denial. Denial is like, it's not happening. I can't believe it's happening. We were so close at one time and now we're not. What happened? Okay, let yourself move through that. And let yourself move through anger. Like, I'm pissed off. Why didn't he or she show up for me as he or she say what, right? Whatever it is. And then bargaining. Oh, I could have done better. She could have done better. Whatever it is. Oh, what should I have done to stay in this relationship? Let yourself move through that. Depressions. You're going to go through the point where your heart is in so much pain, so disheartened that you're not feeling motivated, inspired to do anything because nothing else is important. The love for this person is the most significant thing. So then, feel that deep of that disheartened space and let it move through. Now, it feel like forever, like, oh my God, I can never get out of this space. And then you adding on judgment, you're adding on understanding, you're judging yourself, and then that's how you get stuck in it. But if you just simply allow yourself to move through for what it is to be human, it's going to pass. And then from depression, it's going to go to acceptance. You can accept for what it is. It's not personal. I love this person, and this person loved me too. It's just that the setup is just not lined up. The capacity is just not the same. That person is just not where I'm at. I'm not where she's at or he's at. And it's okay. I can accept that. Allow yourself to move to that natural cycle of grief. And obviously, within those, there's subset of emotion. There's hurt, there's sadness, there's anguish. There are all those things. Now, if they feel too much, and if you don't have outside support, like a very best friend or professional support, ask for help. It's okay to have somebody to be there for you who can hold your heart during this time. It can speed up the process. It can give you a more pleasant experience in the process. When somebody actually understands what you're going through and can hold your heart and not judging you, it can feel very nice. But you gotta let people be there for you. And you gotta trust your gut instinct, what your AM, who that person is. And if you feel there's some professional that you need to reach out. It's okay. You are not alone in this. There are human beings, they are so out there waiting for you to allow them to help you, to support you. But only you can know when that time is. So let yourself move through the natural of grief. It sucks. I get it. And in it, it feels like forever in it. You will want to check out. You want to oh my God, I don't want to feel this. I'm going to push out. You want to cope with things like eating food or drinking alcohol or having sex. That's where the rebound coming in, right? We usually shut off, we cut off, and then we rebound. It's just a way of coping your emotion. But if you really deal with it, you don't need to do any of those things. You don't need the rebound. You don't need the alcohol. You don't need the drugs. You don't need the food. You can be with yourself. All you need is you to hold your heart, and somebody else that who are so trustworthy to hold your heart. And in that, it will move through its own timing naturally. And this too shall pass. Easy said than done. And I know you can do it. And I'm sorry for the pain, and I'm sorry that didn't work out between you and whoever that was, or, it still sucks. It doesn't matter how much work you've done. When it comes to it, it's still sad. You can still feel all those things, and give yourself that permission to be humans. So hopefully this will give you some comfort for your heart, and some comfort and space for you to let yourself be humans. So then when you move through it, you make space for the amazing human being who's meant to be for you, whether it's in business, in love, or relationship, to come in to match you where you at. So you don't need to experience that unnecessary suffering or all the lesson that you have to learn. It's gonna come. Let yourself move through it. Thank you so much for listening to me, and let me be there for you. Let me know in the comment at your AM of what insightful for you, and from that insight, what are you going to do about it for yourself and for your heart to move through this process graciously. And as always, share this with someone who come in your heart and who come in your mind that you think going to be helpful, because if it's your AM, chances are it's going to be impactful for them. If you haven't already, set on a notification, subscribe to the channel, and we'll send out to you the next video when I'm inspired at the next AM to send it out to you. For now, I'm sending you a heap full of love from my heart to yours, to fill that void that you feel right now, the pain. And a big hug from me to you. I think I'm repeating that. From Hawaii to wherever you are in the world. You know what? In this space, I'm going to give you an extra hug. Maybe a 3-second longer. And then let your friend, let somebody who can hold your heart and actually hug you in person. Okay? All right, my friend. I will connect with you at the next AM. Aloha.